to its ultimate will be the idea of a single dimensionless point. Reducing the idea of time to its ultimate will be a single timeless moment. You can call the single dimensionless point here and the single timeless moment now. So everything becomes existing here and now in lay terms. But once you do that, once you truly start to wrap your minds around the understanding that anything you can imagine in every parallel reality all exists simultaneously, all going on right now, you start to realize that what that really means is that there is only that single point of here, only that timeless moment of now, and therefore anything that you perceive as a different place, anything that you perceive as a different moment, is actually the same place and the same moment from a different point of view. Because there is only one place here and only one moment, now. So everything you experience that appears to be stretched out into volumes of space and moments of time are all the same place and the same time from another vantage point, another perspective of that same here and now. That's how you create the idea and the experience of physical reality. Because I remind you of this very powerful recognition. Everyone, everything, you, us, all beings of any nature, your natural state is spirit. That's where you are right now. Right now. You have never left spirit. That's where you reside. That's your natural state. You are pretending to have left. You are dreaming that you have left. And that is called physical reality. Physical reality is a dream that your greater spirit, a part of your greater spirit, is having right now while you are in spirit. You're there right now. This is why very often when people pass on into spirit, you wonder, why don't they come back and say hello? Sometimes they may. But understand, you're there with them. They're not missing you. So the idea is they may show up now and then to remind you that it is only a portion of your spirit in the spirit realm that thinks it's not in the spirit realm anymore. Because that's all physical reality is. It's a projection of your consciousness. It's an illusion for a specific purpose of experiencing yourself in a certain way so that you can forget that you're a spirit, forget what you know, so that you can learn new things and discover new perspectives of yourself so you can change and grow in a very specific way. That is how creation expands. The structure of existence never changes. It is what it is. But your experience of it, your relationship to it, your perspective of it constantly changes. That is how creation grows. So the idea is you are experiencing physical reality and you are learning new perspectives, new discoveries of yourself from new points of view, allowing creation to expand in that way, in its relationship to itself, through all of you, through all of us, through all that is. And that experience is precious because it allows you to experience the process of change, the idea of growth, the idea of discovery, the idea of newness. And that is a precious gift. So, now, how are you actually doing that in physical reality? Well, as I said, you all assume you have a single timeline that goes from your past to your future. In fact, what you're doing is this. You are scanning all of the frames of reference of all the parallel realities that are relevant for the theme that you chose to explore in this life. And you are drawing down and plugging in and unplugging from and connecting to and disconnecting from all the frames and parallel realities that are relevant for this theme. You are constructing, literally, moment to moment, billions of times per second, constructing what appears to be a single timeline made up of frames, one after the other, in a certain order, from thousands of parallel reality connections. You are doing this all the time automatically. When you have an inspiration, oh, I just thought of this. It may be coming from a parallel reality person that you're plugging into that is having that experience. And therefore you can get the inspiration because their experience in that particular reality is relevant for the theme you chose to explore in this reality, in this timeline. You're constantly merging with timelines to build the timeline that is relevant to your theme as they are doing with you, drawing upon your experiences, your information to construct their timelines. All of this going on at the same time. That's how powerful you are. You are a multidimensional being. This idea of your physical self is but a fraction of a fragment of what you actually are, of what your greater self actually is. Your soul is multidimensional. The idea that you have created this experience you call physical reality is magical. Some civilizations that are non-physical, some collectives, interdimensional, non-physical beings, sometimes actually have a challenge even imagining how such a thing is possible that you do on a daily basis. They can't imagine limiting themselves in that way. This is why we often refer to you as the masters of limitation. Now, but here's the thing. In your process, you are going from being the masters of limitation to being the masters of limitation, so that you can master how you use the limitations you impose upon your consciousness in ways that will allow you to experience your growth in a fantastically magical way, so that you really start remembering that you're creating this physical reality experience by your collective and individual agreements, by the contracts you have with each other, to serve each other, to reflect to each other what it is you each need to know to become more aware of who you are through this process, to discover a new perspective of yourself and add that experience to your soul, to your greater being, to all that is, to source itself. Because you are all and we are all and everything is reflections and aspects of all that is, experiencing itself in all the ways that it can, in all the ways that it is. Nothing is by accident, it's all an orchestration. Synchronicity permeates everything you experience, whether you know it or not. This is all an orchestration. When you are walking down a street, all the people that you see walking down the street around you are not there by accident. It may be differing in degree of relevance as to what their presence means to you or what your presence means to them, but it's not an accident. You are there because you're serving to support the greater whole picture, to allow someone else or yourself to glean something from the experience of being there at that exact place, at that exact moment in time. The orchestration is amazing, precise, unerring. When you are stuck in one of your so-called traffic jams, it's not by accident that you're there. So take the time to look around. The people that are next to you in their automobiles are not there by accident. Again, It may not necessarily be that relevant for you at that moment, or maybe you are learning some lessons. Here's one example. Again, by being in that traffic jam and not moving forward very quickly, how do you know that 5 miles down the road, if you had been going at full speed, you wouldn't have gotten into an accident that killed you? You don't know. But what you do know is that there's a reason this is happening. And again, it may not necessarily have that much to do with you, but it has to do with you in your willingness to support someone in that grouping who does need to learn something from that experience. That's the willingness to serve that you all have on a higher level. Bring that willingness to serve down to earth, and you will be served as well. As you serve, you are served. It's just like what we have said by analogy. Each and every one of you is like a little puzzle piece. And when you all fit together, you create the big puzzle picture that supports all of the pieces within it as the pieces support the whole. If you are willing to be the puzzle piece the way you were intended to be shaped, the natural shape you are, and not trying to be a different shape that you are not, you will fit with all the other shapes willing to be themselves, and you will create a harmonious whole. Remember, unity and harmony are not the product of being homogeneous. Unity and harmony are the product of validating the differences that each of you beautifully are, so that all the differences fit together and create the whole picture. Diversity is the key. So the idea in being diverse as beings, in drawing from the diversity of multiple parallel dimensions of experience and reality to create your path in this life, is what's going on all the time. You are the product of infinite diversity every single moment. Billions of times per second are you redefining yourself. Literally billions of times per second are you going back to zero. Whatever the definition is in the next moment is what your reality is, changing the future and the past. Every single moment, billions of times per second. You are that free to go to zero and redefine yourself every moment. Your greatest power is the freedom to choose. So choose who it is you prefer to be. Act in the way you prefer to act. Be the living example for others, to give them the option, the choice, the opportunity to see that there may be a more joyful way to live. It doesn't mean they have to buy into it. It doesn't mean they have to match your frequency. But at least give them the choice. Maybe someday they will remember the living example you provided and go, oh, I get it now. I can apply that in my life. Not that they have to. Again, remember, whatever you share when it's appropriate to share, whatever someone else does with that is none of your business. Because you don't know their path. You don't know what they have determined they need to experience to get where they're going. But just give them the option. Give them the choice. Let them decide when and where and how to use it. Remember, there's no rush. There's no hurry. You're all eternal, infinite beings. No hurry. Somewhere, somehow, somewhen, you'll get it. You don't have to get it now, but you can choose to. It's up to you. I guarantee you that when you do, your lives will be a lot smoother, a lot more joyful, a lot more creative, a lot more loving, and a lot more serving of all that is, that allows all that is to reflect that service back to you. So, the parallel realities that you constantly connect into, the other dimensions you become aware of, the other versions of your greater being that are living out their lives along with you simultaneously, side by side or overlapping, if you wish to put it that way, are there for you to mine as you need to, as they give to you and they serve you and you serve them by providing them more experience, more information, more energy, so they can draw from you what they need as you draw from them what you need. So we're talking about service across multiple realities. Service across multiple dimensions is your natural state. Bring that down to earth. Flow that energy of service through you to serve each other as the mirrors and reflections that you are to each other, because that's what relationships are actually fundamentally all about. That everyone in the relationship reflects to the others what they need to know to become more of who they are, as they do for you. You don't have to impose any kind of rigidity on the relationship and assume, well, it's got to be this because the attraction is so strong, it must mean this. You don't know that. Let the relationship show you what it is. Don't impose a rigid societal structure on it. Let it show you what it's for. Because the strength of the attraction doesn't necessarily translate to any particular societal structure. The strength of the attraction just means it's a very important agreement you have made with that person or those people to get reflected to you what you need while you reflect to them what they need. That's what the strength of the attraction is about. It doesn't mean you have to get married because you're already married to them in the agreement you've made to serve each other. It doesn't have to take the societal form. That's up to you. If it continues that way, and by the end of your life, it appears that that's what it was, then by the end of your life, you'll know that. You don't have to impose that limitation, that structure, that definition on it while it's happening. You'll find out at the end what it was for, what it was all about. Do you understand? Yes. Does this serve you? Yes. We thank you for allowing us to share with you this day, and for the upcoming transmissions we will share with you as well.